We're on 12.
Boom! Boom! That's right, folks. It's a double boom because we have a double episode coming to you tonight. Episode 23. Only way to spend the Jordan episode. Is it 23? I prepped this like it was 23, Pete.
I think so.
I think the point it's going to be 23.
The Jordan episode is a double episode. Welcome back, folks. We're entering Milford post a lovely week of football. That was week 10 for those counting at home. I'm Mike Colelli. I'm your host for the evening, as always, joined by a very young-looking, svelte-looking, clean-shaving-looking Pete DeLuca. Hi, Pete.
Yeah, I'm on the rebound in life. And in my fantasy team. It is episode 22.
22. So close.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Steve, I think your high school baseball number was number 22. So number 22, Steve DeVito, welcome in.
Really?
That was my college baseball number. But if Mike, if you want to go the Jordan one tonight, we are going to do a double. So technically, this could be 22 and 23 if you really want to.
Steve, where did you play your college baseball games? What field?
What field?
Moving on. HL Rushlow Field.
Great callback as always. Brian Casey doubling his carrot Casey tonight in the hot rod. Welcome back, Brian.
Hang in there, Mike.
I know you are. So we'll get into the week, and I had a nice weekend. Dave Colelli was here. You know, Dave Colelli's always up for a good time. I put a fire on. We watched the football game outside. I didn't watch a ton of the game because we watched the Patriots game. But Sunday night, the football game got boring. Dave Colelli and I threw on some Hoosiers. You guys ever see Hoosiers?
Yeah.
Dude, I've never seen Hoosiers. I really should. I've never seen some terrible. I've never seen some great movies. I just saw The Godfather last year for the first time. Can you believe that? Yeah.
I am beyond shocked.
You call yourself Italian?
No, I don't. I call myself Milfordian.
What did you see? Did you see all of them, or just the first one, or the first two?
I just saw the first one. I loved it. It was great. I gotta watch the second one.
Watch the second one.
Two's good. Two's really good.
Awesome. Two's awesome. They're really nice guys. So I was watching Hoosiers, Pete. There's a guy in Hoosiers named Jimmy Chitwood. Okay. And my dad and I had a long conversation about, is Jimmy Chitwood the best fictional basketball player in a movie? So that got me thinking for our podcast. Who's the best fictional football player in a movie?
Oh, Bobby Boucher.
Yeah. Great
Dominating.
Choice. Great choice. Great choice. Great choice.
Could Bobby Boucher tackle Forrest Gump? Could he catch him?
He was pretty quick.
So the ones that I
could run like the wind blows.
Bobby Boucher was up for it.
Came back and the Mud Dogs won the Bourbon Bowl, do you?
Bobby Boucher was up for it. Willie Beeman was up for it. Peak Willie Beeman.
Steaming Willie Beeman?
Billy Bob or Mox? No, none of them.
Could be. Dude, Mox was dope. Back in the day, Mox was a dope prospect.
Mox sucked.
My personal favorite, because I like a redemption story.
What if Lance never got hurt?
Shane Falco.
He did, though.
Yeah, but Shane wasn't that good.
Shane had a good off-the-field game. The cheerleader / bartender.
Redemption story, Steve. I'm always a guy for redemption stories.
Bobby Boucher is true redemption, though. Went
Mike,
from water boy to Bourbon Bowl hero.
With your dad?
I don't feel like that's a movie my dad would have taken me to see.
I went to go see Any Given Sunday. It was either with Jack Dedarian or Jeff Innes or Dickie Hittis. I can't remember, but somebody's dad took us to that movie. It was awkward.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of Elizabeth Berkley in that movie that would have gone over. Because again, I think that was a high school movie. That would have been awkward. One time on a vacation, we watched Dead Presidents. We put it on, unbelievably inappropriate. And Franny Pizzotti walked in, and we were like, she's like, "Who told you to put this on?" And we were like, Peter Pizzotti. He said it was a great movie. We all threw him right under the bus.
Peter Pizzotti's the only other Peter I know.
No, Pizza Killy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Pizza Killy. Wow, what a terrible call. I'm sorry, Pete.
Well, good thing we're not trying to court Pete to
I'm sorry, Pete. Is it Pizza Killy's listening to us right now?
Pizza Killy. I wrestled with him for like 7 years. I'm sorry.
You mean like Pete Farrelly? Isn't there a Pete Farrelly too, Pete?
Yep.
There's two of them.
Two Pete Farrelly.
Good try. Well, if you have any suggestions for who you think is the best fictional football player in any movie or television show, email us at enteringmilford@gmail.com. Emails came roaring in after the week 10 for what we have. But let's get into the recap, guys. Week 10, big week for the league. Big week for the league. Case fell back down towards the pack. You're welcome, everyone. A close to boom performance by Breen, getting him back on track. He was also active texting last evening, which was good to see. And then a couple of the ugliest performances of the week. We'll see if that means the end of a few seasons. But Pete, before we get into the game-by-game recap, let's hear what you have to say. Week 10 in the books. What do you got?
Yeah, it was a great week. It was a very a nail-biting week, and a lot of deciding games went down.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the best player of the week. Let's get into that. The beast of the week. It goes to anyone know?
Debo?
Nope. Close. It goes to Patrick Mahomes, 44.74 points. It was the second week in a row that the beast of the week was on somebody's bench, so it should be called the bench of the week or some sort of.
He didn't play Mahomes?
No, he didn't. He put Josh Allen instead. Shout out to DeVita. He played Diggs. He scored 40 points. That was the highest played player. So shout out to him.
Nice.
Darrell or Darnell or whatever the final execution of that name was. Williams, he scored 35 for Christian. Debo came in fourth or third, technically, for Innis. The going deep. Does anyone have any guesses on this one? I have no. These guys were like out of left field.
So no one on Innis's team.
No. So
wait, Pete, can you give us a clue? What position?
Wide receivers.
More than one.
Florida teams.
Oh, that Agnew guy.
Agnew?
That Agnew guy in Jacksonville had a long one.
Really weird one because Agnew has a 66-yard rush for a wide receiver.
Right.
So it was the longest play, but it was a rushing yard by a wide receiver. So it's kind of crazy. This other guy, Wilson, 64 yards, a wide receiver on Miami. And then I'm not even going to attempt this last name. Albert Okawiko.
Oh, yeah. Denver.
Get me out of here. Denver tight end. He's 67 yards or 64 yards. So he was the third longest. So DeVita played Diggs. That would have been the longest played player. So that was a 57-yarder. So DeVita got that one.
Wow.
That breaks up a pretty good Jeff Innis streak.
Is that the shortest distance touchdown, Pete, on record?
The previous one was 63 yards. That was a Lockett touchdown, week 2. It's crazy. All right, so let's get into the weekly scoring. Our weekly average this week was 123. That's up 2 points from last week. So even though this was a terrible week, it was still up 2 points from last week. The season scoring dropped down to 137. That's down 2 points from 139. So the trend continues. Top scorers, again, these are people that finished in the top 50%. They are Breen and Innis, just 2 people. That's the lowest I've seen since we started doing this. Yeah. Breen put up his second highest score this year. He put up 168 in a week 5 win against Mike. Innis, it's his 7th time being a top scorer. He moved into 3rd in the league in scoring. He's now over 1,500 points. Innis getting more and more for real. Let's talk about the boom. Wow, we're talking about Jeff.
Bring it. Way to go, Jeff.
Jeff wins his 3rd boom. I want to make this about me as much as possible. Him and I have alternated booms the last couple of weeks. So that means that I'm due. 170 is the 9th highest boom. There's only been 10. So I'm the lowest. In case you're wondering, the average boom last year was 188 points. This week, through 10 weeks, it is 190 points.
Okay.
Also, at this point last season, we had 200 point performances. We have the same amount this year. So scoring is on par with last year, believe it or not. And that is the overall week.
Wow, Pete, I feel like you can build some really good regression analyses with this.
Oh, I got charts later, Mike.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
Maybe we can do for our Patreon subscribers an inside look at the numbers. So that way people really want to see what's going on. We can do some screen sharing, put some models in Excel and see what gets popped up.
Yeah, I can scan my notebook later.
Perfect.
Pay for the subscription or income.
We'll call it Inside the Mind. That will
we can offer subscriptions. It's kind of funny. They have it as like a thing. Do you want to offer this as a paid service? I was like, absolutely.
But what happens if you say yes?
I think people have to start paying for it. We'd set up a fee and everything, but okay, I don't know. Who cares?
Pete's Insights brought to you by Watson. IBM.
What are we worth? What are we worth?
Right now, we're worth 78 cents. I know that much. We've generated 78 cents. Yeah. Once we get to 500 listeners, we'll have $1.
Can't wait to see that, guys. We got only going forward, small steps, one step at a time. All right, let's get into the game by game recaps. Came down to Monday night, the game of the week, and I'm really going to get Case's reaction first. But Pete, it was a Case Kaleli battle. Van Jefferson somehow dropped every pass that was thrown to him, except the 3 that he needed to get me 9 points that got me a victory over Case. Case falls to 8-2, couldn't get the sweep of the league, falls back towards the pack, and he's now tasting a good amount of injuries. So, Pete, what did you think of the game? Give us your thoughts.
Well, before before I praise Mike, I got to give a shout out to Brian Casey, because sweeping the league is not something that I've said it over text message, but I want to make sure the entire league understands that is not an easy accomplishment at all. Going 8-1 is a rare accomplishment as well. There's a lot of pressure to do that. So shout out Casey. That's very rarely done, and good for you, man. And honestly, even though we joked over a text message, it is a better sign that you lost it. Going forward, the majority of the teams that lost it did way better. But Mike, it is your 6th straight against Casey, so you are definitely his daddy. And yeah, the last person to do this 8-1 sweep was Christian, and he did it last year and he won the Super Bowl. So good sign there. That's really it. Mike, I'd want to say that you were on the van train for the win, but it doesn't make sense. So
No.
I was trying to work a joke there, but after like 10 minutes, I go, it's not working.
You know me, I always like a good
van.
I like a good GIF placement, or GIF. That's how the young kids call it. And I typed in van, no good van once. And I tried to type in elephant fail, and I was going to send like an elephant falling over or something.
Oh, like a baby elephant.
Yeah, something like that. No good elephant fail GIFs available on the iPhone. Get your act together, Apple.
Who's the
You need to
psycho
go
that
to-
wants to see an elephant fall over?
You need to go to a more experienced GIF finder like Steve DeVito. He has them all.
You do
Yeah,
have
like-
a lot of GIFs. Well, DeVito, you have GIFs and you have opinions. So obviously another tight win. I snuck it out. Case had some pretty bad luck from an injury standpoint, but ultimately a win is a win and a loss is a loss. What are your reactions to the game? And what do you think about the fate of each of these teams as it relates to the league going forward?
I don't know if as much as you won, Mike, as it is Case's guys kind of faltered. Like you said, the injuries that hit him, Patterson and Jones going out, that's obviously going to hurt Case. And his Chargers stack really didn't give him the points that I think him or anyone envisioned coming out of this. So, I think on Case's side here, the injuries in that stack really hurt him in the end. And what a great pickup that you had with Ingram. Second highest point total in your roster. Huge addition there for you. And big win for you, Mike, to keep your hopes alive to get that 500.
Oh, the $500. I thought you meant $2,500. I was like, no. Yeah. So, hey, Steve, you can call it a win or a loss. I call it a win, baby. So, Case,
Yeah, it's a win.
I obviously want to get your thoughts overall to the
That's
game.
all.
So I listened to a podcast. I forget what they're called, but they do like fancy recaps. So I had it on today when I was going for a run, and they ran
Entering
through.
Milford.
No, we didn't have a podcast yet.
You run? Good for you.
I'm getting back into it. I'm back.
What are you running from?
Just keep the heart in shape, keep the lady interested.
Well, you're also aren't you running in a 5K coming up
I did that on Sunday.
Sunday?
Thanks though, Steve. That was a really nice callback that you remember that.
Good for you.
Post race, by the way, I was drinking Guinnesses. One of my buddies is like, it's essentially like drinking a protein shake. So great call.
Oh, listen. Wait. No, this is a friend podcast. We don't need to move this along. They in Baltimore, they just opened the Guinness. They opened a Guinness brewery.
Yeah.
Wow.
It is like Disney World of
What
beer.
do they have? Does Guinness have other products that aren't Guinness?
Yes, they have and it's like a huge tap room. It is amazing. Next time I want to have the draft down in Baltimore if you ever guys want to come down here. But literally someday Google it. It is the only Guinness brewery in America. It is in my town of Halethorpe, Maryland, of all the places to be. And it is awesome. We go there all the time. I want to go there this weekend. It's fantastic.
Hey, Pete, now that I've moved
Oh, yeah, there
back
it
to
is.
being like 8 or 9 hours away as opposed to just 2.5, thanks for the invite, man.
Oh yeah. Well, next time you pass them through, I expect you to at least give me a call next time you pass through. But
All right,
yeah.
Pete, I got a question for you.
Sorry, we're gonna make this 2 hours.
I just Googled how long it would take me to get from my house to this brewery. How long do you think?
We're in Connecticut, 4
Connecticut.
hours.
4 hours and 3 minutes. That's not bad.
I do that drive a lot. Yeah, so I'm used to it.
Yeah, there's no
All right.
traffic in the way either, so you should be good. Should be easy drive.
Yeah, no, just
Down
take
on
the G-
Saturday.
take the G dubs. You'll be good to go. All right, Pace. So, Case, I listened to this podcast and they rattle off key injuries for the week. And it was like a barnstormer of Brian Casey's team. So, like, tough week, not a great performance, couple of bad luck plays, couple of things that may be like, directionally we're worrying. So, are you looking at it as bump in the road? We're back next week. Or are you looking at it as like, there's a couple things I need to get remedied on before the playoffs?
Yeah, good question. I've had a fair amount of luck up to this point, going 8-1 through the league. Like I've played a couple low scoring games where the other guy hasn't got the performance he wanted, and I've kind of snuck it out. Obviously, Henry goes down.
Mm-hmm.
Now Jones is out for a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Patterson's dealing with something. Like, I'm now starting to get the injury bug. Like, before that, it was just
Yeah, it doesn't seem like
bye-related.
Patterson's playing Thursday, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was just bye-related, and I was doing what everybody else is doing. So, like, I've stayed relatively healthy. So I'm getting that now. So it's one of those things where I got to decide if I want to just kind of sit and wait for these guys to come back. And, you know, a game one early is worth as much as game one late, and see if the 8 early on is enough to keep me in or make a move.
Is that a thing? Did you just make that saying up?
No, it's definitely, DeVito knows what I'm talking about. Like,
Say it again.
A game one early is the same as a game one late. Like, they all count the same.
Wow, I've never heard that before.
Me neither, right? I feel like that's like one of those things that's on the wall of a locker room.
Yeah, yeah.
Never really.
Basically, it's a sport. It's a sports reference.
Pete, if you were going to create a sign for a locker room right now, what would the sign be? Go.
Play like a champion today. You got to go with that. It's a classic.
Good segue.
Yeah.
Keep your balls in your pants. Sorry, Case.
Mine would be drop it on them.
Case, is there anything you'd like to say to me? I've now beat you 6 out of 7 times, and you can't seem to beat me.
Yeah, no, Mike. Good win. Like I told you, I wanted the exchange. Hopkins and Murray both out. Take my chances. Like, you never should lose a game when the other guy's got Teddy Bridgewater as a starting fantasy quarterback. But you can't win them all, I guess. So good job.
Thanks,
good use to the jinx, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that worked.
Reverse
yeah,
psych.
it did.
Wasn't reverse psych. Your team's better than me. You're a better manager than me, Case. And
My team is my starting lineup this week was better than yours.
They were.
And it didn't come out the way it should have. So It happens. So we'll see. But yeah, good job.
Thanks, Case. So Pete and I have had this debate many, many, many times of like, do you want high ceiling, could have stinker games? This week to me is the testament of why, like, give me Tyreek Hill and Dalvin Cook any day of the week, because they can easily put up 30 and it takes the floor of where your team can be. I'm lucky to get a win for sure. Sure.
It feels good when it goes right.
But it feels good when it goes. That's 2 weeks in a dude. That's 2 weeks in a row, by the way, that my game has come down to the Rams, whose offenses have looked awful, which we'll get to in a minute when we talk about Steve's games. But they gave my guy the catches. So I have a tough one next week that we'll be previewing momentarily. But I've got back-to-back weeks without Kyler. I would be surprised if I have Kyler again this week. If I can somehow muster up a continued push towards the playoffs with an injured Kyler and my team being banged up, I got to say I like my chances. This is a big win for the chosen ones. Good to be back on track. Second game.
What we got?
I believe the second game was Pete
and Christian.
Pete and Christian.
Pete and Christian, we can go by this one on my rival. It was an easy 124-91 win for me. That's a season sweep for you, boy. You can take out the brooms. When you want to talk about 7 losses and you're done, that Christian, that's your 7th. I'm happy to beat 2 of them. So bye. I tried to play defense on this one. I got Dearness Johnson. I went and I added Collins. I dropped Bolden. I got Matt Ryan. I tried to make basically every single move that I could so that Christian couldn't make any moves.
Yeah.
Didn't seem to make much of a difference. So I'm going to reevaluate all that going forward. But anyway, happy to get the win. Glad it's over.
Yeah. You caught Christian on a nice week. He had a bunch of guys who were out. And then somehow TJ Hawkinson went from the number 1 tight end last week to 0.
Yeah.
Tough week for Darren. I want to get to your team, though. Thoughts on the Odell Beckham trade 4 days after it, and he looked like that. Still like the trade for the value this year? Are you regretting at all the decision?
So I fell asleep. What happened? I didn't even watch the game. I told you guys I woke up at like 8:30. He looked bad.
He does not look even remotely like the player he was prior to that knee injury in Cleveland.
Well, the good news is I don't really need him that much. I wasn't really relying on Kyle Pitts, so he can kind of towards the end of the bench. And I guess I would never like pray for an injury, but like if Cooper Kupp ever got hurt, it could be very, very, very valuable. So
what I was going to say for you, Pete, I mean, you're a top tier playoff contender, and to have someone like that on the back end of your bench in a situation where you have an injury is not going to hurt you.
I agree, Steve.
Do you guys know how boring it sounds? You know how boring it sounds when I look at the group text and it's just the 3 of you guys all going at each other?
Well, that's because your wife put you on digital island for 4 hours.
No, dude, I'm telling you, Pete, turn notifications off changes your life. Go ahead, Case. You were going to say something.
No, well, I guess a couple of things. One, it's good to see Pete back to his old self where I get like 20 Yahoo Orange Crush added, Orange Crush drop notifications on my phone during the day. So it's good to have you back, Pete. Let's get those transactions up. Number two, I'm with DeVito on the whole Beckham thing. Like, what were you thinking, dude? Like, honestly, like that guy, doesn't have a fit. Like, I think we're all caught up and enamored in that one catch that he had early on. Like, injuries have changed him as a player. He's an undersized receiver that can't run away from people anymore. I mean, maybe he'll learn the offense. And if he can't catch passes in the Rams offense, it's over for that guy. You're done. It's fizzled out. He just wrecked. There's something wrong with him where everywhere he goes, he performed well.
I mean, I will say though, that it was 1 week, right? He was picked up earlier this week.
He was there for 2 days.
I mean, you're not going to expect him to pick
big
up
picture stuff,
but not going to expect him to pick up the offense in a week. Could I envision him as a number 2 receiver in that offense?
I think it was that bad of it.
Sure, but we'll talk about this, Mike, when you get to our game. The Rams offense is a group right now is in a major amount of mess. And they need this bye week. So maybe this is one thing that picks Beckham up. Who knows?
You know who doesn't need this bye week for the Rams, though, Steve?
I'm well aware.
You. Pete, I'll give you the last word because it was your game. Are you going to play Lockett next week? Or what do you do with the mess that was Seattle?
Oh, I always play Lockett.
Yeah,
Rule number one, you always play Lockett. Take a note of that one, DJ Moore, Steve DeVito. So I'm just the thing that I'm thinking with Casey saying, what were you thinking with Odell Beckham? It's not that high a risk of a move for my team. It's actually relatively low move. I didn't give up any picks, and it's not a person that I'm relying on going forward. If it happens to go well, it goes well. So
wouldn't you rather have Pitts for this year? Never mind for future, but wouldn't you rather have Pitts? Now he's the number 1 guy in Atlanta.
So I watched him the last couple of weeks. I told you he couldn't beat a double coverage to save his life, and it was getting kind of ugly. So listen, I'm not trying to pump him up or anything. I think he's going to be great long term. We have to get our keepers down to 10 at some point this year. And I thought having enough of an investment in Devonta Smith as my next big guy that I want to kind of think, it was weird having 2 of those guys on my team. So I decided to part ways with Pitts and keep Smith.
Yeah, you can never have enough commodities, I guess.
Also, straight up, Lloyd just wrote back to me, I like Pitts. And I was like, cool. That sounds good to me.
Yeah, so honestly, I thought it was a great move for Dan.
It happened quickly. Yeah.
I like to gamble. I like the game. I think, Case, you're I don't like to analyze the NFL too much. I had Beckham for a number of years. He was way more than just 1 catch. He was unbelievable for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
So his ceiling is still insanely high. And even the stuff he was doing in Cleveland, he was open a lot, and Baker's awesome.
And he's all
I do think Baker sucks.
I mean, that's why that's the main reason why he was one of my keepers this year, viewing him as a bounce back guy. But Baker Mayfield is just pitiful.
Baker stinks.
He gone.
Baker's gone. All right. Speaking of Steve's team and his keepers, let's go to game 3. The boom of the week, Jeff Innes dismantles DeVito, and DeVito's supposed boom of the week barely broke 100 points, but he got there thanks to Cooper Kupp, who even in an off week still goes off and almost scores 30. Pete, give us the recap. Innes, DeVito, battle of the coaches.
Yeah, very quickly, Steve ties it up at 5. The series at 5-5. I mean, Innes ties it up at the series of 5-5 with a 170-105 boom. The Rams stack didn't hit, but DJ Metcalf did. DJ Moore picked a really bad week to only score 6 points. Every single person in the league's looking at him. So I'm just gonna chalk this one up to a bad week, Steve. That's my analysis.
Yeah. It was disgusting.
Yeah.
3 of my players are under 26 yards receiving.
Disgusting.
I mean, that Seattle Green Bay game was horrible to watch. Russell Wilson, I don't know if he could have played in a high school game. He was awful in that game. Yeah, it was just a really bad.
Nothing wrong with his finger that I have. Look at this thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
That thing. It hurts.
I tell you what, Pete, you look like you could spin the crap out of a football with that thing.
First of all, don't swear. Second of all, it's ruined my NFL career. I was throwing spirals before this. Then we had to make DeVito the quarterback. It was awful.
And then he was snapping spirals.
That I was snapping. I was like, all right.
Yeah, no,
just confirming that I said crap, right?
You did.
Cut that.
Hey, Case. Remember how I did the silly gimmick of hey, closest point, more point. Don't look. Who scored more points, Jonathan Taylor or Cooper Kupp? Don't look.
Kupp, because you alluded to him earlier.
Cooper Kupp scored 0.4 points more than Jonathan Taylor. What a battle.
Yeah. Good point.
Battle.
Thanks.
I will tell you this, like,
The
Innis's
rest of the team stunk.
Yeah,
Innis's
nailed it.
team is scary good. Like, it's scary good. But I remember we talked about this matchup. Like, the one reason why I picked DeVito is I thought he would get consistent performance, like top to bottom, because I think the bottom guys that Innis fills with every week, like, you know, Jarvis Landry, like, they just don't score consistently enough. But his high ceiling guys are awesome.
Blew it, Steve.
DeVito's team just performed consistently bad across the roster where it wasn't competitive, not to kick a man while he's down. But I have a question for Steve, right? You obviously made the move, right?
Yeah.
Do you wish, like, it took a long time for it to happen, like chronologically within the season?
Mhm.
Like, do you think, like, when it happened, like, it's too late? Or, you know, a week later now, would you wish you never made it? Like, you wish you had your old pieces back?
No, because I still made the move, not just for this year, but for future years because of how young DJ Moore is.
Okay.
I
Love
still think he's a guy who not only is good this year, but has a really good future.
Is
Kittle's,
he matchup proof?
yes.
All
The
right,
good news,
And Kittle
Yeah.
and Kittle is still elite in that
can
offense.
you repeat that?
it is matchup proof. He will.
No, there's no repeating. We've
You
gone over
gotta
this
know,
last week.
Steve,
There's no
come on, you gotta
repeating.
know enough about media, Steve. There's no nuanced takes. When there's a black and white question, you have to give a black and white answer. That's it.
I was so
Steve,
confused. I was so confused by your answer.
So
Matt.
if it's like a
If no idea what's
90%
going
chance,
on.
then it's a yes.
It's a yes. If it's a
is
60% chance,
he matchup proof? Is he matchup proof? Is he matchup proof?
Steve,
Is he matchup proof?
you sent me into the same rage I have with my like 7-year-old. I was just like,
Answer the question.
let me say the exact same line with a different tone and see if that
Yeah.
changes.
Well, there was part of me that was thinking of how I was going to answer that. So it's like, maybe I can get him.
Very
Maybe I
delayed.
can get him. Maybe I
That is a
get him
tactic, Steve. That is a tactic to delay by saying the exact same question back. Is to
Well,
delay.
delay by
What was-
question.
what was the Michael Scott negotiation tactic? You had to do the next one really quietly or lean way.
Yes.
I think it was so, Steve. I still don't think it was that bad of a trade. People react too quickly to these trades. It's just a
Oh,
trade.
definitely. Good news though, Steve. They have a quarterback now who is really good at throwing.
Yeah, I noticed that. He had a really good week because he is back, according to him.
I gotta say, I
better
love
than
Cam
nothing.
Newton.
Yeah, he's better than nothing.
The league's
By the
so
way-
much better with Cam Newton in it.
In case as bad as he was here, he actually was pretty good on Sunday. He threw the ball pretty well on Sunday.
Yeah, I didn't see any of
Even
the
though he
game.
threw it 4 times.
Yeah, me
but-
neither.
I didn't see any of the game, but he stinks.
Me neither. Speaking of Cam Newton being back and the impact it may have on a team, don't worry, Jeff. We'll get to your team in the preview section. We're trying to go quickly through the recaps, folks. But a Panther is a key member of the Big Rigs. And in the battle of the brown paper bags, the Big Rigs ran into a pretty formidable opponent this week. Big question, is Breeny back? Probably not, but he was back this week. Pete, give us the recap.
The 150-118 win for Breen. It's another season sweep. That makes it 3 out of 4 for Breen over Spates. It's a tough loss for Spates. I think this kind of story is this matchup was kind of the story of like the quarterback performance. If you really look at it, we always talk about how quarterbacks are not very important, but this is one of those that might resonate how important they are. Spates plays Rodgers. He comes up short. It really kind of cost him the entire game. Breen finishes second in the boom. The whole dreaded quarterback situation that he has between Allen and Mahomes happens and plays out. It would have been Breen's first boom if he played Mahomes, first boom in team history. And he missed it by playing the wrong quarterback. So it's an ugly loss for them both, but there's still 5 weeks left in the season. So, yeah, you got to look at the bright side, Mike.
Case, I'll bring you in next because you're the, what's it called when someone benefits from something and who's the other side of a benefit? You know what I'm saying?
Beneficiary.
Breen's the beneficiary. What's the inverse of the beneficiary?
Non-beneficiary.
Loser-ficiary?
Loser.
So Breen being the beneficiary of what looks like 1 or 2 weeks with a smash play of A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones being out, like, what do you think Breen's next couple of weeks look like? Does the guy continue to have a shot at the playoffs? Is he scrapping his way back into the league? I'm not making you talk about the wild turkey, but just so you know, you're welcome.
Oh, the wild turkey. Could he be more of a roller coaster ride as a team, by the way?
No,
He's
I don't
like
want you to talk about spares.
150, 114, 140, 113. Like he's just up and down, up and down. There's no consistency in the wild turkey. Yeah, no, obviously Breen benefits huge if Jones is out for an extended period of time. I know it's through some investigative reporting by our own Steve DeVito. It looks like it's 1 to 2 weeks with a mild sprain, which is, I guess, best case scenario. But even before that, Dylan was kind of like working into his reps. So like, does he get more? Especially if he plays well. Like, does he get more? I don't know. It is a scary piece for my team for sure.
Oh, Case, I did mean to ask, were you watching that Packers game when it happened?
Yeah. I saw it live.
Yeah, we were watching it too, and that whole drive, Jones had like 4 catches. He was and I'm like, oh man, I'm in trouble. And then whenever he went down and went in the tent, and they said he was crying, I'm like, oh no. Oh,
I thought it was over, Mike. I'm actually surprised with the diagnosis.
I thought it was.
Yeah.
The interesting
I was watching it because I yelled when I texted this group. I yelled it out loud in my house when I saw him go down.
Yeah. Yes, Steve.
No, I was going to say the interesting thing here for Dylan and Jones, not only is he been playing well, but the Packers schedule here could set up where you could see, Case, you could be without Jones for the next 3 to 4 weeks just because of the bye setup in week 13.
I have 2 guys that are like that. I have 2 guys on my roster, the same thing, like the extra week rest, they might just keep them out.
So Breen could benefit over the next 2 weeks. Then they have the bye. Then you're looking at weeks 14, 15, like the Packers, depending on what spot they're in here in the playoffs, and if Dylan's doing well, you could end up seeing them rest Jones a little bit longer. So it's going to be interesting how that kind of pans out.
And one of the guys on Breen's team that I think also helps, like the Robert Woods injury, I think actually helps Higbee more than it helps Beckham. And I think we saw that last night, but the guy just freaking fell all over himself. He dropped balls, he fumbled.
Pointing so much. Are you upset? You keep pointing at us.
It's like a way of talking with your hands. You're Italian, right? Like, so I
don't point at people.
I'm not pointing aggressively at people. I make my point.
Hey, listen,
I don't agree as much though with the whole Higbee thing. I mean, Higbee the other night.
What are you talking about?
That's Sunday
what
night
are you
game.
Talking about? You're still talking about the game? Well, we've moved on.
Case was talking about Higbee.
Yeah,
I was talking about pointing.
Who cares about Tyler Higbee? Seriously, how many people?
No, just saying. I don't think Higbee is going to be the beneficiary.
Case, if you care about Higbee, make Breen an offer. I'm telling you, Breen has been. After I yelled at him in the pod, he's been very active with me on that. He won't make a move. He doesn't like any of my trade offers and doesn't ever give counter offers, but he's replying. And he told me he was pulling for me last night. So that meant a lot, Kevin. It's great to have you back, buddy. All right.
Oh, yeah. Is he pulling for you?
What?
You, Breen. You.
Did I point? Oh, I did. I did say I was going to crush Breen. I can't say that anymore. Now I got my younger son up there. Did we do every game but the last game? Every game but the toilet bowl?
Who knows?
Yes.
Let's do the toilet bowl. DeVito's team looked pretty good. What do you got, Pete?
We hurry up so Pete can talk about himself and give up more stats. He's dying down there.
And
Pete doesn't like real NFL stats. He just wants to talk about people in the league.
Do not care about real NFL stats. I only want to talk about the people I went to high school with. Andy won another one very easily. This is actually kind of chalk for him. He's had a majority of his wins over Ross Lloyd by 30 plus points. So ironically, it's a 40-point win. So he's got another one. While DeVito continues to look for a trade piece that will help him this year, he lost the. Yes, he does. He lost the inside track to the first overall pick. Lloyd is, he's losing. He's doing trades. He's doing it right. I'm proud of him. He was the one that I was following up without talking to him about Odell, but he was the one that pulled the trigger real fast. I got a question for you guys. How long until you think that Lloyd is a contending team?
Next year.
Really? Next year? Or
next year.
How
many first round picks does he have next year?
I think like three. Or 4.
Yeah, it's 6 in the next 2 years.
I think next year. Well, when you say contender, what do you mean by contender?
Playoff.
You mean win?
Playoff team, I think you need to give him 2 years. Okay. But I think contender, could he be at the moment where like middle of the pack, like sitting around 500 next year? Sure, totally.
See, where I come from, Mike, when you're a contender, you're usually contending for the playoffs or the Super Bowl. So that would mean you're in the postseason.
Right, but no. Then ask a better question. Then say, when will he be
don't finish
playoffs?
fifth.
No. Don't do that semantics nonsense.
Contenders don't finish fifth.
When will he be a contender?
Contender means when is he going to have a chance to win it all?
3 years. I think he can be a playoff team in 2. I think next year he'll be contending for the playoffs.
That's what I just asked you.
No,
When will he be
no.
contending?
Pete, you yelled at me when I said he'd be the middle of the pack next year, contending for the playoffs.
All right, whatever. Let's go. Hey, Carrot Cake.
I think he's got,
hold
I
on,
think he's
Case and
got-
DeVito. People much rather hear DeLuca and I debate.
know.
That's why I said the case. I said,
Tyler
that's
Higbee.
why I
Keep
said, I
telling
said, case. I said,
keep
case,
telling
let this
Statistically
go.
proven. It's been
keep telling you so that I think he's got 7 keepers that he can build on right
Yeah, I
now.
think so.
And he has the ability to make another move, but he might have to give up one of those keepers to get 2, you know what I mean, like a 1 for 2 deal, but he's got 7 legit keepers.
Yeah, I think he's got 7 or 8 guys. I actually bet you there's a couple guys on waivers too. If he stopped even looking at the season, he could just go cherry pick and even come to someone like me. Like I don't Terry Stoney's not great, but like he'd be a better I think there's ways he can snag a couple bottom of the roster guys and take some flyers with him.
Yeah,
there's
Kadarius
a
Toney.
free agent that I bid on this week that he should have on his roster already, and I don't know why he doesn't.
Dude, stop pointing.
I do have to say
That was up in the air. It wasn't at anybody.
it does
was
make
like-
for it does make for a much interesting league having Lloyd in it.
It
Not
does.
just from I mean, he's still the last place team and the lowest scoring team, but he's like a wild card because he's like the one already planning ahead, and it's kind of hard to do that.
We got 10 teams.
It's also good to have someone who's a big Aaron Rodgers supporter in the league. That's also nice to have.
That's also true.
DeVito, I want to give you the last word on your vowel, buddy. DeVito.
2.
Is he still in contention, or is it a too little, too late problem?
Well, I mean, my concern for Andy,
He gone.
my concern for Andy is that the only 3 players that were above 13 points for him, granted it's his big guns, Kelsey, Diggs, and Swift, but if any one of those guys doesn't play well, he's hurting.
Steve, this was I gave you what I thought was an easy question.
No.
Okay, there you go. All right, there we go, guys. That's it. That's the week 10 recap. We're in a good spot with the league, folks, as we round the corner. 5 weeks to go. Pete proclaimed, once you get to 7 losses, you're done. We now have a number of teams who've hit 7 losses, which by Pete's calculus, they call that the Russ Casatley curve. Pete's calculus, 3 teams are out.
I had Russ Caselli for homeroom.
Me too.
guess-
Wait, were we in the
So
same
did I.
room?
We all were.
We all were.
Oh, no. You know what I had, Mike? You know what I had? I was next door. What was the Wayne? was his
Wayne
name.
Turner. I was gonna say
Turner, yeah,
You know,
I had
DeLuca
Turner.
were in the same homeroom. We weren't in your
Yeah.
home.
It was alphabetical, right?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Was your
it was-
guys' lockers right
Uh,
outside Casatley's room?
No,
No,
mine was
right
around the
outside my
corner.
yard.
Yeah, you guys were around the corner. Case, you were near me.
Mine
I
was
thought.
right outside it.
Yeah, you were right near
A8.
me. I thought we.
I saw DeLuca. I saw DeLuca by my locker a lot in high school at one period of time.
What's going on with your internet?
Too much pointing.
Change his name to Case instead of Kara.
Mine or
Yeah, Casey, you're frozen.
Your internet stinks right now.
It was probably a pretty good time because that
Can you hear
joke
me
was going nowhere.
Not really.
Next.
All right. So we've got 3 teams. We've got the Orchids, the Blue Bloods, and the Bees. By DeLuca's calculus are out. DeVito is knocking on the door of elimination if DeLuca's calculus is right. So what we're saying is we're now getting week to week. We're going to likely be having either loser leaves town or last man standing matches. We're very slowly, we're going to see. And then we've got, so Pete, let me make sure I got this right.
Yeah.
This is the final full week before the trade deadline.
Yes.
So
the
this
next
week, this Sunday will be week 11.
Mhm.
Everyone then has that week, and you have Thanksgiving to deal. So it'll be 6 teams who you then can't trade because it's Thanksgiving, and then that Saturday. Right?
Yeah, Casey's internet's really throwing me. But yeah, you have 1 more week. So this is the last week to decide whether or not you're in or out, because starting Monday, you got 5 days, 6 days. The trade Casey, you look, there's something going on there, man. You look like you're about to murder a deer. But this is awful. All right,
I don't know
so
what's going on right now. I'm checking everything.
yeah, don't worry about it. It's that government internet. It's awful. Yeah, it's getting down to this is the last week to make up your mind, Mike. Whether you're selling, like you should be, or if you're playing it up.
Thanks for next day. All right, let's get into it. We get some good matchups this week. Another interesting game of the week where, again, it's going to be two guys who are right in the playoff hunt battling out. And then kind of a weird week. Did you guys look to see like what the standings were of everybody playing?
No.
So you've got the game of the week is 2 versus 4. Then you've got 3-10, 6-7, 1-9, 8-5. There's not any other matchup with two teams that are right in the thick of it. So an interesting week from a games perspective. But again, 5 weeks left. 1 week left before the trade deadline. So like make a decision, folks. If you want to make some moves, you've got a week left to do it.
This is it. This is it. This is go time.
All right, Pete, you ready to get into the preview for week 11?
Yeah, sure. Who you want to start with?
Start with the game of the week, my friend. The chosen ones back in the game of the week against the big rides. Jeff Innes, Mike Kaleli, Battle of Backyard Basketball. Whose bank shot will reign supreme? Go for it.
Battle of Backyard. Jeff and Mike have played each other 10 times. That's a 5-5 split, thanks in part to a 173-94 whooping in week 2 by Mike. No disrespect.
Did I boom that week?
No, I did, baby.
You did. You boomed 1 and 2. I boomed 3 and 4. That's right. And then we brought these guys on. That's right.
Yep. Let's keep making this about me. No disrespect, Mike, but I think that Jeff's players are better than your best players. I think Innes has done well. He stepped into the top 3 of scoring. And I think this week he's going to step into the top 3 of standings. And I think, Mike, that means you're out. It's a scary one for you, Mike. I know we're going to look at this a little bit later, but Breen and Christian, you need a Darian upset to stay in a comfortable position. I don't think this one's going to go well for you, so I'm going to pick Jeff.
Good pick. Steve?
I happen to agree. The only thing that's going to hurt Innes are any of these Q tags, but it could hurt you as well.
Ooh.
You've got 2 on yours. He's technically got 3, but CeeDee Lamb is going to play. The only question mark for Innes is Mitchell. Had that broken finger last night in the game, had a procedure done today. I still don't think it really matters. I'm going to take Innes, and Innes is my upset of the week technically because it is.
Oh yeah, he's 4.
Going for the upset.
Case, we'll bring you in. You just faced the wrath of some excellent coaching and bench depth by the chosen ones. Can I do it again and upset Innes after I got picked from sweeps in the league, or am I going to get bounced by the big rides? Can you talk though right now?
Can you hear me?
Is this
my back?
Are you on the moon?
No, am I back?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we can. Your eyes look like they've returned to your skull, which is.
Are you underwater? I can't even see your eyes. All I can see is your eyebrows.
I don't know.
Dude,
what's
YouTube,
going on. Like,
YouTube tonight is going to be a hit.
it's gonna be awesome. I just for same time, I'm gonna take Innes too.
That's it.
Thanks for breaking down the entire chat.
Oh, man, Case, way to go. So I'm going to take Innes too. Innes' team is far superior to mine. His coaching is far superior to mine. The only thing I can confidently say that I'm better at the moment than Innes is producing children, because I've got 2. But I might not be. He just hasn't done that yet. So I don't know.
He might be saving up. He's rebuilding.
The thing I said to myself, or I'm just saying it now for the first time. I actually haven't said this to myself at all. I don't think Kyler plays again today. This week, and then he's on a bye. So if
not playing
I have
today.
4 weeks with excuse me, Steve?
He's not going to play today.
Definitely not today.
Sunday.
But, yeah.
I have 4 weeks without Kyler. If I can somehow go 2 and 2 in those weeks, that would be a win. I do have what I think is a good quarterback lined up for Kyler bench play if he's out.
Teddy Bridgewater on a bye.
No, I'm not picking that.
That was tough.
Oh, yeah. And then the guy didn't even tackle the guy. I'm like, Teddy, come on, man.
Well, they scored 30 points and he didn't throw 1 touchdown.
Gosh. No, they didn't score 30.
Yeah, they won 30-13.
Oh, they lost 30-13. No,
I'm sorry, you're right.
It was either him or Garoppolo. Those are the 2 guys I was between. Because again,
Teddy Bridgewater.
I went with Teddy Bridgewater because again, Kyler wasn't technically out until Sunday, and I knew I wasn't going to be online during the first game. So I'm like, I got to pick a guy. It was a bad pick. Whatever, I got the win. To beat Innes, Dallas needs to stink. That's the formula. You need a bad Dak, bad CD game.
It's that time of year.
Kansas City has played 2 pretty good games in a row. Defensively, at least. So my only hope is that they can somehow slow down Dallas and not have that be a crazy high-scoring game. Or I go giant stack and I say, hey, let's run it up on the Bucks. Because you never know. Danny Dimes, he's going to come. I'll take Innis, lock of the week, upset of the week. Innis is booming this week. I just can't take it. All these great managers.
Love it. You
Pretty
love
sure you
reverse.
also just gave away your secret of who you're
I'm not picking up Danny Dimes. I'm not picking up Danny Dimes.
All right,
Did
listen,
you just give us a sweep of the boom, lock, and upset?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's
When do you
amazing.
think this jinx is going to run out, Mike?
We'll find
Yeah.
out.
I remember when I
Well,
did
don't
this.
forget.
You were like, "Are you going to do this every week? You're doing this every week." You really think?
No,
Don't
right?
forget, early on, Mike said he will never pick against
Never,
himself.
ever pick against my team because I believe in them.
I do. They know from the bottom of my heart, I believe in them. But I'm going to do the best I can. I'm going to put the best players on the field. Case I'm
Not
not.
even putting a finger up.
I'm above you, Case.
Who am I poking?
Put a
Nobody. The
finger
black
in the air,
strength.
Mike, if you got pride.
Mike's still no.
I think we got a headline.
I still think there's a little disrespect to the chosen ones. I am so far from healthy, but I get Saquon back this week. I get Cooks back this week. Man, if Kamara, I know I don't like to wish injuries on anyone. If Kamara's out this week, that'd be good. I'll put up a fight, but I like Innis's team. Come on, Kansas City. Game 2, Pete. There's not that many exciting games after this one from a numbers perspective. So as I say every week, I add up all the numbers, and essentially every other game is an 11.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, that was last week. Oh, sorry, hold on.
The next one
Embarrassing.
is
You guys
the
want to
Jumbos.
re-record this? Jeez.
Wait, didn't I text this to you guys?
Oh,
Mike, I got it right here. You
Oh
wanna
yeah,
know who's
pull it up,
next?
Steve. I don't even have my phone open. I can open it quick.
The
my-
Jumbos
my
and
dad
the
just
Blue
called.
Bloods.
no reception in the castle.
Who doesn't?
You in your daughter's castle. No reception out there.
I got it. I got it right here now. I got it
All
up.
right.
Second
Jumbos,
game,
Bloods.
we got the Jumbos against the Blue Bloods. This is not an
Oh.
exciting one, but Case is the 1 seed, so he gets the second slot.
Yeah. In the last 5 years, Casey and Andy have played each other 8 times. Casey has won the last 3. Congratulations.
Oh,
That
what
includes-
Case?
Yeah, that includes a 222, 146 almost boom in week 2. He fell 3 points south of.
Let me guess, behind who, Pete?
Make it about me. It's time to start a new streak for Casey, but I don't think it's the one that he wants. With no Henry, no Jones, I'm taking DeVita in an upset. Every once in a while, things shake out well for Andy. Honestly, you look at his roster, and we all laugh at him. But he lined up like when I played him, his roster looked really good, and his roster looks really good this week. So I think it's going to be Andy in an upset.
All right, Steve, I'll go to you next. Then Case, I'll finish on the swing with you. Big injury week with Case. Henry's out. Jones is out. Looking like Patterson is going to be out because the game's Thursday. Is Hopkins in or is Hopkins out? And then who's your pick in this game?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the same thing's going to hold true for Hopkins that it's been for Murray. They got a bye next week. So the question is, are they going to risk a bigger injury here with Hopkins, or are they going to rest him up, go into the bye, come back at 100%? You know he's not going to practice all week. Probably what it's going to end up being with him. If he does practice, it'll be limited. I'm having a real tough time picking this game. I'll be honest with you. I went back and forth deciding what I was going to do. I do like Case's better players better than Andy's better players. So I'm going to take Case. I think the Chargers stack comes back a bit this week. I think Dallas is going to have to play some run control, run the ball against Kansas City. So I'm going to take Case, and I just can't get behind Naheem Hines against Buffalo. I can't do it. I just don't see Andy surviving those 3 guys.
This has DeVita written all over it.
Pete, it's one of those rubber.
I know.
It's a rubber cup. Excellent. They're great. Dishwasher.
I do.
safe.
I do
Pete.
agree with you, Pete. It does set up well, but I'm
Having 2
gonna take
conversations here.
Pete, I have no idea what DeVito just said. Case, I have a very specific
I
question
agree
for
with
you.
DeVito. It's hard to get behind it, but I agree.
Case, I have a specific question for you. Let's make the assumption Patterson out because it looks like he's out and Hopkins out. At the moment, Case, I'm pointing at you. At the moment, your roster would dictate McNichols and Howard due to buys and due to other guys. Will those be the 2 guys who are landing on your roster? Do we have some big waiver wire moves coming through tonight? And how do you feel about the team going into week 11?
Yeah, good thing I'm playing Andy, so I know he's not going to be a guy that's going to beat me to the waiver wire this week. So we might have some waiver stuff happening. There might be some trades happening.
Ooh.
I am banking on not having Hopkins or Patterson
Okay.
in my lineup this week. And again, like I said earlier, I don't know whether it's to make the move now or to be patient because I still am 8-2.
Yeah.
So that's the question. The one thing I will
So
say.
hold on. To answer my specific, you don't think McNichols and Howard will be in the lineup?
Nope.
That's
Most likely neither.
We have an audio only audience.
Most likely.
That was a bulging eyes, head shake, no, double point from Case. Okay, go ahead.
Most likely neither. But to bring a stat up for you, Mike.
Yeah.
Whenever the jumbos are the Yahoo projected point underdog, I have the best record in the league at 3-1. So I'm taking myself this week to go to 4-1.
Hey,
I'm gonna find a way to win this game.
hey guys, how many weeks were you sitting on those stats to bring them up at that
It's
time?
just like, when am I going to lose?
I might have a couple to sprinkle in there for you guys.
Over under 3.5 weeks.
No, it's been longer. I think it's been since we last did the pick'em facts.
You picked yourself. Case, did you pick me or did you pick Ennis?
I picked Ennis in the
All right,
upset.
I'm gonna pick you because I think you're a superior manager, as I said last week.
Of course.
Casey's picking you. You.
Do you want me to pick you, Case?
You can do whatever you want, Michael.
I'll pick Andy then. Here's my one worry with Andy. Other than all the other things we said, he just thinks what he thinks and he does what he does. He's got Russell Wilson. I don't imagine he watched that whole game. Seahawks play the Cardinals, who, other than last week, because who knows what happened last week, their defense has actually been pretty good, and they stunk last week. So I might not be a bad idea to play Tannehill if you're Andy. Just saying, we'll see what he ends up doing. Maybe Russ has a return game. Who knows? But we got, what, 3 of us on DeVita, 1 of us on Case, or 2-2?
Wow. I'm DeVita.
It is
DeVita.
a 2-2. 2-2.
2-2. All right, the OG's back together, Pete. Feels good, man. All right, next game. Hold on, let me check my text so I don't go to the wrong game. Next game up. It's you, Pete.
Yeah, me and Lloyd. In the last 5 years, Lloyd and I played each other 7 times. He's 4-3 during that stretch. So
wow.
Russ owned me. I don't know if you guys knew that. It's coming out of the closet here, but he definitely like crushed me for a while there. Good thing I wasn't looking at these stats back in week 2 because I wouldn't have been nearly as confident when I dropped a 226 boom on him, the second highest scoring of the season, I believe. So I think I'm due to go off soon. Lloyd's aiming for that first overall pick. Have you guys ever seen Inglourious Bastards?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
don't
well,
swear.
I'm happy to oblige him on that. So I am going to pick myself as the boom of the week there.
There you go, buddy.
Yeah.
Pete, question of the week happens every time. Is this Brady week or Lamar week?
Brady week, I believe. Yeah, I got to look at
Brady's
it.
in now.
Yeah, if Brady's in there now, I think I said it last night. So yeah, it would be a Brady week.
Monday night.
But the thing that really hurts is the Gronkowski because you don't have the 2 threats. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to get Mike Evans.
I forget how you do it, Pete. If you play Brady, does that mean you will bench Hollywood and or Andrews, or you don't look at it that way at all?
I don't look at it that way. It is a nice to have, but I usually just link the quarterback with the tight end.
And I received multiple texts from the league. They want to know, will you be doing any double stack bringbacks this week?
If it works out, I got away from it last week with the Tampa Bay stack with the McLaren bringback.
Yep.
It turned out to be a good move. So
what? Who
double
would
stack bringback doesn't always work.
Who would qualify this week for you to use a double stack bringback?
I think it was Pittman, but Pittman's on on CJ's team now. So, so forget it.
So maybe no double stack bringback this week for the.
I do have a stat, Mike. The double stack bringback
Yeah.
executes only 42% of the time.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I could get somebody else in the Colts, but they're not really that great. So.
Is that made up or you?
No, that's accurate. I did the numbers.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Fair enough. I don't even know. I kind of just made that up 2 weeks ago.
Case, what's the wine of choice tonight? Lloyd is going to judge whatever answer you give right now, and if it's a wine Lloyd doesn't like, he won't want your pick. Yeah, Lloyd won't.
Mock West Pinot Noir.
Lloyd won't want your pick. Go ahead, Case.
Discount bin,
this game?
Discount
What's
wine?
that? What's that?
You get the discount bin wine?
Oh, my wife likes it.
Fair enough.
Um,
That kind of girl.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm with Pete. I'm gonna take Pete. I'm gonna inflate his ego like it needs it. I'm gonna make it my boom and my lock, Pete. You're due. Let's do it, baby. Let's go. I'm on board.
How am I not supposed to be confident?
Steve?
I'm going to pull a case. I'm going to ride on his coattails.
Oh,
Pete
my
is boom
cronies.
and lock as well.
You guys are my cronies. You're like Pat Patterson and Joe Brist and Steve Briscoe,
it's-
whatever they were.
It's
Back in the
not as
day.
much. It's not as much cronies as it is. I just think
Now-
after what happened last week.
Jeff
at
is
Tampa
somewhere
Bay,
laughing at that
Big-
cronies joke. I'll
big-
tell you right now.
Hey, Pete.
You are,
Pete. Am I setting you up for the big fall in 2 weeks?
My cronies.
Pete, if you're Ric Flair and it's the Four Horsemen, DeVito is definitely Arn Anderson.
Yeah.
Who is
Are you
Case?
kidding me? Are you kidding me?
I'm
Who's
Dean
Case?
Malenko. I'm Dean Malenko.
Yeah,
Oh my
Case is
God.
Dean
I'm a
Malenko. And then
technician.
who's like the guy in the Four Horsemen who turns on the Four Horsemen? Lex Luger? Can I be Lex Luger? Am I steel elbow?
Arn Anderson. Yeah, I wasn't a big WCW
Me neither,
fan.
me neither.
Yeah, the original Four Horsemen, there was two Andersons. It was Arn and his cousin or his brother or something.
I think I'm more of an NWO Wolfpack fan. Yeah, I'll go with that. Or yeah, that was probably more my style.
If you're talking about that, DeVito's definitely Conan.
Oh, Jesus.
Tequila Sunrise. Orale! Arriba la raza. How do I remember that stuff?
Well, that's great. Do you remember when
Clelly,
WCW had
Clelly,
NWO
you're
and
Razor
then-
Ramon. You're the bad guy.
and then NWO Wolfpack and like the whole roster was NWO?
What?
They had double NWO. They had the white NWO and the red NWO. You don't
That's
remember
what I was just talking about, Mike.
I know,
Pay
but they-
attention.
I know, but they didn't just have one NWO. They had two NWOs.
Yeah, do you remember what they were
It
called?
evolved.
Yeah, the
It
Wolfpack in
evolved.
Hollywood. Of course I do. Dude, Christian Darian and I in 7th grade were in Myrtle Beach and we bought, I think Darian still has it, unbelievable NWO t-shirts.
Do you remember when?
New world order.
Do you
He
remember
still
when?
has his
Sting,
kitty medium Wu-Tang shirt.
do you remember when Sting joined the Wolfpack?
Of course.
It was the best episode ever. All right, going on.
Clelly, who's your pick?
I'll take Lloyd. Hey, Lloyd, I don't buy cheap wine like Case. Win one. Wait. Lloyd doesn't want to win. No, I'll take Pete. Lloyd doesn't want to win. I'll take Pete.
Oblige him.
I'll take Pete. I'd love to see Lloyd win. Get him a nice Barola. If I win the boom of the week, I'll buy Lloyd a Barola. How about that? Next game is, I know this one, Darian Breen, a battle of easily the two most active guys on the group chat. Who will talk more trash this week? Who knows? Is it Darian? Is it Breen? What do you got, Pete?
Breen and Cooch played each other 10 times. Christian is 6-4 during that run, despite losing their first matchup 138 to 121 in week 2. Christian has won 4 straight before that. Breen lost 4 straight after his last big performance. That was the blow up against Mike. But I think Christian's team is toast. Nothing to see here, so I'll save some time. I think Breen's going to be my lock. I'd usually reserve that for whoever's playing Lloyd, but Christian's a garbage team too, so I'm going to pick that.
Steve, I'm going to go to you next. I want to go couple injuries here. Can I ask a favor? Steve?
I'm listening.
Watching TV.
Yes.
I'm waiting for him to talk.
Yes. No. Maybe.
Too much
Okay.
pointing. Too much pointing.
Kamara.
Maybe.
Damian Harris.
Yes.
Yes.
Ooh.
Unequivocal.
He
Jody.
practiced today.
Nick Chubb.
Yes.
Oh, 1 for 1 there. All right, who's your pick then, Steve? See that? See how efficient that was? And now,
Breen.
Steve, people can't get mad at you now because you just gave random answers. That's how you got to do it. But don't put your neck on the hook. I'm looking out for you, Arn. Breen?
Breen.
Who would Breen be if he was in NWO?
Oh, geez.
Macho Man. I don't know.
No
Somebody.
way.
No.
Bobby Heenan. Bobby Heenan.
Yeah, Bobby the
Hey,
Brain.
Bobby
He
Heenan.
didn't talk too much. No way, Bobby Heenan.
They both got blonde hair.
Could he be? No, he can't be. No. Yeah. Sid Justice. Sid
I think,
Vicious.
I think I'm more of the Big Papa Pump style guy, maybe. Remember him?
Oh,
Scott,
yeah.
Oh, he
Is
was
he
the
alive,
best.
Scott Steiner?
Scott Steiner.
There's no way.
No
There's
way,
no
right?
way he's still alive.
Who was
He
the other
had to
guy
have a
like
heart
him?
attack.
Oh, Buff Bagwell. Remember
Buff Bagwell. Buff
Buff
Bagwell.
the stuff. He died, right?
Those guys had to have died, dude. They were so roided up.
I just saw Yokozuna died the other day. Like, or like wasn't he? He's like 600 pounds. It was like
All
crazy.
time.
Hey, did you know Yokozuna wasn't Japanese?
That was Pete. That was what I was gonna say. I watched that A&E thing. No idea.
Really? Was he Samoan?
Yeah. But you know, in fairness, I don't see color or race. So.
Hawaiian? That's hilarious. But they were just like, okay, you're Yokozuna, go.
And don't speak. Don't use any words, but talking a
say
really
anything.
bad Japanese accent.
Wear all Japanese clothing.
They handed him a Japanese flag and they were like, get out there.
Yeah, here's Mr. Fuji, and here's a Japanese flag. Go get him.
Exactly. Poor Mr. Fuji.
Poor Mr. Fuji. DeLuca, you're the jury. Who's Breen's NWO character?
I think Bobby Heenan is dead on. I think that's fantastic. Bobby, I forgot all about him.
All right, Case, who's your pick? Are you picking Heenan or are you picking Darian?
I'm gonna take Heenan because I think Christian is in official tank mode now, so I think he's playing for a pick. I bet you even if Kamara's healthy, he doesn't play him. So I'm taking Breen.
And what quarterback roulette do we think Breen is rolling with this week? Case, Mahomes or Allen?
Oh, let me look.
Better go
I
Mahomes.
think that wow.
Two good matchups.
Yeah, I play Mahomes. I think he's
Beat
feeling
Mahomes?
now.
What are the matchups?
Mahomes
Allen.
has Dallas. Allen has Indy, both home.
Both home.
Two good matchups.
Yeah. Go Mahomes, whatever, right? Dallas got to score. And so
Steve, you think he's back into Mahomes?
Yeah, because I think there's a chance of rain in Buffalo this weekend.
Ooh.
oh, insider.
And just a public service announcement. A lot of people have started to jump Steve for his injury analysis, and it's really hard to guess injuries in this league, especially people like Bill Belichick who played games with it. So, Steve, I'm with you.
Bad shtick. Bad shtick.
It's only funny to Brian. Like that's
Nobody cares. It's a bad
no
shtick.
one else thinks that's funny.
I'm
Public
just standing
service,
up for my
public service
friend.
announcement. He is the one doing it.
I'm
Yeah,
standing
I
up for
know.
my friend.
It's a bad stick. I'll take Breen. I think Breen's coming back. I want a meaningful game 2 weeks from now when Breen gets me at full strength and I go on a redemption tour and I tear down his house. So I'll take you, Breen. Get a win for us, buddy. Last game, Pete. This is a big one.
All right.
You know what this game is. Loser leaves. It's a loser leaves town game.
Loser leaves town. DeVito, yeah. This is a nail biter for you.
I guess technically if Spates loses, he doesn't leave town, but he's in trouble. If he loses this week as well, he's going to need to essentially win out and get a little lucky. So let's hear it. Spates DeVito. I'm calling it a loser leaves town game.
All right. Well, these two have played each other 8 times, and CJ is 6-2 during that time. He has won 3 straight against Steve. That includes the lowest winning score of the year, which was CJ 107, Steve 106 in week 2. Guys, I'd like to call attention to my chart. If you guys want to look, I have Spates' weekly breakdowns. As you can see, when he first started and we weren't taking him very seriously, the numbers were on the rise. However, began to, as more and more people became infected, started to rise higher and higher. You see that there's a plateau here, and he has sort of accelerated back up and worth safe. What I want to know is there a third wave headed in this direction for Spates COVID?
Yeah.
Pete, I don't know who taught you shapes, but a plateau is flat, not.
Listen, I'm just trying to prove a point. We've already
Peaks and
gone
valleys.
over one massive wave of Spates COVID. We've already just gone through wave 2. Is wave 3 on the horizon? And if so, do you guys want to know who he faces? We have Steve and Mike on the horizon for a potential Spates COVID third wave.
I hope not.
All right. Well, I thought I'd get a better.
Oh, he gets me next week. Oh man, I don't want Spates next week.
How long did it take you to draw that?
I did it like right before the game. Hopefully, he is in full remission by week 14. When I want to be down to like right around here.
Our hope is we hit
Flatten this
herd
curve.
immunity for the Spates
Yeah, we're gonna
variant by
flatten
week
this curve,
14.
Spates, week 14.
Who's your pick, Pete?
Spates.
Case will go to you next, then Steve. Doesn't seem like much injury news in this. So I just want to ask one quick question about the game. I'll get your pick. Case, who you got?
We all know that I've been a huge believer of spares all season, and I'm going to ride the trend back up. Pete, thanks for the visual. Always been a visual guy, so I'm taking spares.
Steve, tough one last week. This week you get the buy stack. Stack buy? Buy stack? Stack buy? Would you prefer I call it a stack buy or a buy stack?
A stack by.
You get a buy stack buy. Double buy stack. Peaked me?
Played me.
Played me.
He peaked.
Well, that's what
good.
happens. You know what happens, though, Pete. That's why you shouldn't be leaving the house without a mask. Don't ask Lloyd that, though. It's fake. The Spates COVID is fake. Steve, you're on a stack buy. Can you win even though you're on a stack buy? And if you don't win, is the towel raised? The league wants to know.
So let's just point one other thing out about this game, Mike.
Yeah.
I actually think both of us, in the positions we're in with the point totals that we have, we are already in trouble as it is. We need a lot of things to go our way. Myself and Spates. I know Spates is only one game out, but with the teams that are 6-4, he's behind them in points. He's behind you in points, behind Case in points. It is going to take a bunch of losses and some really, really high point totals for either one of us to get in.
Okay.
I will say that I think
Steve, a lot of caveats there.
my road to get back is much more difficult than it is for Spates, just because I have the 6 losses already.
Yeah.
I do think the stack being out this week definitely hurts. I'm taking Spates.
Can you answer my follow-up? I asked 2 questions in there.
Yep. What's the second question?
Yes, no, maybe.
If you lose, are you going to make moves at the deadline to improve your odds going forward, or what's the plan going to be?
I think I've proved that if a move makes sense for me, I will do it. I've made 2 pretty big moves this year. So if it makes sense and I want to do it, I'll do it. If not, then I like the young players I have to move forward with keepers. So we'll see what happens.
Is there any players you'd like to talk up at this point? Or would you like to save that for next week?
So much for that public service announcement. I will say no, Case. We're just going to keep it as is.
You guys all pick Spates?
Yep.
Pick Spates. I'm going to pick Spates. I don't know who's going to win. I don't really care who wins. I want everybody to win. I'm going to pick Spates because if Spates wins and we get back here for Thanksgiving week, I just want to know what Steve's going to say. That's it. It just Steve, I have heard from multiple people in the league on this as well. They still are offended at the way Case said that you were tanking at the beginning of the season when you made those moves. Do you want to say anything else to address?
Are you projecting your opinions onto Case now?
No, I project nothing. All right, that's it. So what do we got, Case? Did you do all of our recap collaboration so we know? Do we all make the picks we were supposed to pick? I think
Everyone
we have
made the
4.
pick.
I think we have 4 sweeps.
Yeah, it was flawless this week. Actually, Mike, I failed to mention this last week, and I should have. It's my fault.
Hey, what game didn't we sweep? No, not me. Case.
Yeah.
2-1.
Yeah, me versus DeVita.
Is every other one 4-0?
Yeah, 2-2. Innis, Pete, Breen. Yeah, that's the only one.
No, I know that.
So for our pod listeners out there, I didn't mention this last week, and I apologize, but last week's picks marked Michael and Pete's 50th pick this year. So congratulations, you guys, for making 50 picks.
Look at that.
You guys updated stats.
I don't care.
Mike, you have fallen off.
I don't
big
care.
Time.
He did the work.
You're 56%. Pete, you're still riding that middle road at 54. Man, you've been consistent all year, baby. So keep doing
500.
it. Keep doing it.
I'm gonna pick Lloyd again.
Nothing like being
Lloyd.
average. Yeah, nothing like being
Case,
average.
switch my pick. Give me Lloyd. I'm picking Lloyd.
Who's Lloyd playing?
I'm picking Lloyd every week from now until he's out of the league. Give me Lloyd.
That's funny
Yeah.
you bring that up, Mike, because last week Lloyd was picked twice, which doubled his season picks this year at 4.
I'm Team Lloyd.
It's funny
Hey,
you bring
Pete.
that up, Mike, because you also said you were going to pick yourself every single
I
week.
did.
Go ahead.
Do you want me to pick myself?
I don't care.
Pick me. Give me me.
Mike was going to pick himself. He didn't
every
say I
game-
was tanking. He's
Case.
picking Lloyd.
Mike, I'm not listening anymore.
All right.
Pete, do you know that by
Nobody
Yahoo
is.
projections, you've never been underdog all year? You've been
Really?
a favorite every single week. Yeah.
Are you sure him and I wasn't a favorite against him?
No, Mike, you've had 2 where you've been an underdog. One of them was against Pete.
One, and I think one was this week. I think I was an underdog
You
Against
were an
Dennis.
underdog. You were an underdog
against you.
against me. Yeah.
I'll tell you the God's honest truth. I don't care anything about projections at all.
Me neither.
But Tuesday morning, I put in the highest projected team, regardless of who I'm playing on Sunday. I want who's ever going to look at my team to be like, shoo. You know, so I do that regardless. And they're like, I'll pull them all out later. I'll be like, whatever. I want to say a little reminder before we go.
Yeah.
to the teams that are tanking, selling, lesser terms, whatever it is. Okay, Brian.
Love these. Not public service announcements, Pete service announcements.
Well, no, it's not service announcements. It's a fun league, and even though you're
Come on,
selling,
Pete, that's the funniest thing Case has said in like 4 weeks. You got to acknowledge it. It's a PSA.
Hey, original.
I was just gonna say, I think he already cracked that joke earlier in the podcast.
Well,
But-
Pete service. No, the original one wasn't original. The Pete service announcement was pretty funny.
All right, but just remember, if you are selling or tanking and you are playing somebody, please try to put in a competitive lineup. You're not only competing for a $50 boom, but you are also could affect the playoff race of what is going on. A loss for you, even though you're like, oh, great, I'm out of it, it doesn't really matter, could affect somebody that is playing for the ultimate prize. So just remember that and have some, respect for the teams playing at the top. I know that if I was playing at the bottom, I would still try as hard as I could to ruin somebody's season. So
I feel like we had a rule. We had a rule a couple of years ago about like playing something, but we switched it.
It's sad that we have to do that.
We switched it when we went to $50. We switched it when we went to $50 because it's like, why would anyone not try to make money when they can make money?
I think next year, guys, we bump the boom up to $100. It wouldn't cost anybody a dime. What we would do is adjust the winnings. It costs $700 to do the boom right now.
Yep.
So we'd add another 700 on top of that, right? So it gets to about 1,400 of $3,000. Then of the remaining 1,600, you give 600 to the first place guy, and you give 1,000 to the champ. And you can do $100 booms every single week. And man, you get $100. That's a lot to play for every single week.
Can you just leave it at 500 and 1,100? So that way you're still keeping the Super Bowl or the regular season champ at 500. You could do that too.
Yeah, absolutely. And winning the league, you still get $1,100. That'd be awesome. That's a lot of money. So
you could go happy medium. You could go happy medium, go 75 too.
Exactly. So maybe next year, I think the boom is very interesting. And I don't know if you guys are in other leagues, but it gets dull, bye weeks happen, and who really cares that Breen beats Spates? Like, who cares? It's nice to have a boom in there to keep it interesting. So
yeah.
Mike, do you want to change any of your picks?
The Brown Paper Bag Company reached out and said they were really happy that someone picked them as a sponsor for a game. So excuse me, Brian?
You want to change any of your picks, or are you just ranting?
I don't know who I picked. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want me to pick, I'll pick.
To Lloyd.
I want Lloyd. Lloyd's a great teammate, by the way.
I personally, I'm on your team for this podcast. Like,
yeah, what? I call you my number one every week. I don't.
He was on your basketball team 20 years ago.
Hey, can you believe that? So one of my college buddies just moved to Fairfield. He's like, hey, you going to the reunion? And I'm like, what reunion? He's like, we're 15 years out of college next year. And I was like, whoa.
Oh,
what buddy, Mike?
Sean Donnelly, bought a house right down the street.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Pete, I think another good PSA you just added. Start thinking about rules and start thinking about things we want to do for next year.
Yeah, I have a list that I've been keeping track of that's about 7 deep. So if you guys, as people have been saying things to me, I've been writing them down.
We 24 next year or 25?
What do you mean? What?
Years for the league. 24 next year?
24.
To 25. All right. We got to find a way to get in person next year. That's my only thing.
Pandemic. It's not, Casey wanted to add defensive players. I wanted to add the beast of the week. I wanted to add the going deep. I wanted to add the survivor bonus, and Kaleli wants to adjust quarterback scoring. Those are the.
I don't remember the defensive player thing.
Yeah, those are the ones I have so far.
Hey, Pete,
I revoked the defensive player thing.
Could you give us a zoom in of what is over your left shoulder? I think that's an important.
That's for the online crowd only. It's for the online crowd. Behind crushed. Have a good off season, Christian.
All right. That's a good point to leave on. All right, guys. Great pod. Double dip. Sorry, we won't be back on Thursday night. A couple of us. Well, I think I had Thursday night plans. We had some Friday night plans. Good luck this weekend. Maybe we'll have like a special pod, quick call or something. But if we don't, happy pod, everyone. We entered Milford. We now are leaving down Route 85 past Pago.
Wait, 85? No. 85 was past Wednesday.
So
109. 109. We're leaving Route
We always leave 109. 109 is the worst one. 85.
It's 16, Mike. If you go to Pago.
Mike, can't we go to Hopkinton?
85.
85. All right, fine. We're taking 85 past 495. Hey, we've gone past the start line, but we're heading down to the marathon start line in Hopkinton. We are exiting Milford. My name is Mike. For Steve, for Pete, for Case, even though he had rough internets and bulgy eyes tonight. A great pod as always. Good luck in week 12.
Can't wait to see it.
Good luck.